What if I told you that the good vibes only mantra is not only failing you, it's actively sabotaging your success? For years, we've been sold a simple, seductive promise. Think positive, and you will manifest the life of your dreams. We've been taught to chant affirmations in the mirror, to visualize our goals relentlessly, and to push away any thought that feels even remotely negative. You've probably done it all. You've woken up and declared, "I am a magnet for wealth." You've visualized that dream car, that perfect relationship, and you've been told that if it hasn't worked yet, you're just not being positive enough. But what if that's a lie? Not a malicious lie, but a profound misunderstanding of how the universe, and more importantly, how you actually work. If you're ready to challenge the conventional wisdom about success and spirituality to unlock what's really holding you back, then you're in the right place. This is what we explore here every single week, so make sure you subscribe and turn on notifications so you never miss these deeper truths. The brutal truth is, positive thinking, when practiced in isolation, becomes a form of self-deception that can destroy your mental health and block you from what you truly desire. It's a glittering cage that keeps you trapped in a cycle of frustration and self-blame. But there is a way out. The solution isn't found in a more powerful affirmation or a more vivid visualization. It lies in one powerful, often ignored component. It's the missing key that turns hollow optimism into unshakable inner power. Stay with me as we uncover the destructive trap of toxic positivity and reveal the one thing you need to truly change your reality. Part 1. The seductive and destructive trap of toxic positivity. First, let's give this enemy a name: toxic positivity. It's the belief that no matter how dire or difficult a situation is, you should maintain a positive mindset. On the surface, it sounds like resilience, but in practice, it's an obsession with positive thinking that leads to the denial, minimization, and invalidation of real, authentic human emotions. It's the difference between healthy optimism, which acknowledges reality while hoping for the best, and a forced positivity that puts a fake smile on deep-seated pain. This constant pressure to be happy is causing catastrophic psychological damage. The first casualty is your own emotional integrity. When you believe you must be positive all the time, you start to feel guilty or ashamed for having perfectly normal human emotions. Sadness becomes a sign of failure. Anger becomes a spiritual crime. Fear becomes proof that you're not high vibe enough. You start policing your own mind, judging your feelings as good or bad. This internal war is exhausting, and it disconnects you from your own intuition, your own inner guidance system. You are essentially telling parts of yourself that they are not welcome, that they are wrong for simply existing. The second, more insidious damage is problem avoidance. Imagine you find mold growing on a wall in your house. Toxic positivity is like buying the most beautiful, expensive can of paint and covering it up. You can stand back and say, "Look, my wall is perfect and clean." But underneath that glossy surface, the mold isn't gone. It's festering. It's spreading in the dark, weakening the very foundation of your home. Your unresolved issues, your traumas, your insecurities, your financial worries are the mold. Slapping a "I am abundant" sticker over a mountain of debt doesn't pay the bills. It just creates a dangerous illusion that prevents you from taking the practical, necessary steps to actually solve the problem. You're so busy pretending everything is fine that you fail to address what is actually broken. This leads us to a concept known as spiritual bypassing. This is where we use spiritual ideas and beliefs to sidestep dealing with our painful feelings and unresolved wounds. We say things like, "Everything happens for a reason," to avoid grieving a real loss. We say, "I'm sending them love and light," instead of having a difficult but necessary conversation. We meditate for hours to escape the anxiety that we need to confront. It's a tranquilizer for the soul. It feels good in the moment, but it ultimately stunts our growth. It keeps us in a state of spiritual infancy, unable to develop the true strength that comes from facing our difficulties head-on. This addiction to a false light is precisely why so many people feel stuck, running on a hamster wheel of affirmations, getting nowhere, because they are ignoring the very source of their power. Part 2. The missing ingredient: radical acceptance and shadow work. So if positive thinking alone is a trap, what is the missing ingredient? The missing ingredient is not a secret mantra or a new visualization hack. It is shadow work, the practice of embracing and integrating the parts of yourself that you have repressed, denied, or judged as negative. The term shadow self was coined by the great Swiss psychoanalyst Carl Jung. He described it as the unknown dark side of our personality. But dark here does not mean evil. It simply means hidden from the light of consciousness. Your shadow is the container for everything you don't want to admit about yourself. It holds your deepest fears, your shame, your insecurities, your perceived flaws, your traumas, and your repressed desires. It is every part of you that you have pushed away in an effort to be good, lovable, or acceptable. To truly understand its importance, let me tell you a short parable. Once, there was a king who was obsessed with light. He despised the darkness, seeing it as a source of fear and chaos. And so, he issued a decree. From this day forward, there would be no night in his kingdom. He ordered thousands of giant mirrors to be built on the mountains and millions of lanterns to be hung in every street and every home. His subjects worked tirelessly, day and night, to keep the lights burning, to banish every last shadow. For a while, the king was proud. His kingdom was a beacon, a land of eternal day. But soon things began to go wrong. The people, with no night to rest, grew exhausted and irritable. The crops, with no cool darkness to recover, began to wither under the relentless sun. The eternal glaring light became a torment, and the people began to miss the gentle comfort of the moon and the quiet mystery of the stars. The king, in his quest to eliminate the darkness, had destroyed the very balance that gave life its richness and meaning. He finally understood. The darkness was never the enemy. It was the necessary counterpart to the light. Without it, the light itself became meaningless. This king is every single one of us who attempts to live a life of positive thinking only. We try to banish our own inner darkness. We suppress our sadness. We deny our anger. We hide our fear. But in doing so, we are fighting against the fundamental nature of reality, and we are exhausting ourselves in the process. This is precisely why manifestation fails when you ignore your shadow. The law of attraction doesn't just respond to your conscious, happy thoughts. It responds to your total vibrational frequency. Your shadow is humming with immense repressed energy. It's the energy of your unmet needs, your unhealed wounds, your deepest fears. Trying to manifest wealth while your shadow is screaming, "I am not worthy of abundance," is like trying to drive a car with one foot on the accelerator and one foot slammed on the brake. You burn a lot of fuel, make a lot of noise, but you go nowhere. True magnetic power does not come from destroying your shadow. It comes from turning around, walking into the darkness and extending a hand. It comes from integration. When you bring your shadow into the light of your awareness, when you can look at your fear, your jealousy, your insecurity without judgment, you reclaim the vast amount of energy you were spending to keep it suppressed. You take back the power it held over you. This is the foundation of genuine confidence. It is not the absence of fear, but the courage to feel the fear and act anyway. It is the beginning of wholeness. Part 3. A practical guide to integrating your shadow. This might sound like a monumental task, but the first steps are simpler than you think. It begins not with a battle, but with a shift in perspective. Step 1 is to acknowledge, don't suppress. This is the practice of mindful self-compassion. The goal is no longer to eliminate negative feelings, but to allow them to exist, to observe them without getting swept away. When a feeling of anxiety, sadness, or anger arises, your new job is not to slap a positive affirmation on it. It's to pause, take a breath, and say to that feeling internally, I see you. I acknowledge your presence. Thank you for trying to protect me. I am safe. You are not your feelings. You are the awareness behind your feelings. By simply acknowledging them, you create a space between you and the emotion. In that space, you find your power. You are no longer a victim of your moods. You are a compassionate witness to your own human experience. Step 2 is the power of journaling. Your shadow communicates in symbols, feelings, and reactions. A journal is where you can learn its language. But this isn't a diary of your day. This is an archaeological dig into your own psyche. Here are 3 powerful prompts to begin your shadow work. Be honest. No one will read this but you. First prompt. What am I most afraid of people discovering about me? Write it all down. The things that make you cringe. This fear often points to a part of yourself you have disowned. Second prompt. What quality in other people irritates or angers me the most? Often, the things that trigger us in others are reflections of unacknowledged aspects of our own shadow. If you can't stand arrogance in others, perhaps there is a part of you that longs to be more confident, but is afraid to be seen as arrogant. Third prompt. Write a letter to the part of you that feels not good enough. Start with, Dear One, and pour out all the compassion you would give to a dear friend. Offer it understanding, forgiveness, and love. Step 3 is to redefine true positivity. Let go of the brittle, fragile positivity that shatters at the first sign of trouble. Embrace a new definition. Authentic positivity is not the absence of negativity. It is the resilience to integrate it. It's not about feeling good all the time. It is about having the profound self-acceptance to feel everything, the joy, the grief, the anger, the peace, and still know at your core that you are whole and worthy. It is a deep, unshakable peace that can exist even in the middle of a storm because you are no longer at war with your own inner world. Before we conclude, I want you to ask yourself, which emotion have you been told is bad that you are now willing to listen to? Let that question sit with you. Conclusion. For too long, you have been fighting a war against yourself. You have been told that parts of you are unacceptable, that your darkness is something to be feared and vanquished. Today, I invite you to declare a truce. Your power doesn't come from pretending your darkness doesn't exist. It comes from owning every single piece of who you are, the light and the shadow, the confidence and the fear, the joy and the sorrow. They are all you, and they are all sacred. The universe isn't waiting for you to be perfect. It is waiting for you to be whole. Begin the real work today.